All right, kids. So welcome to another episode of Rimshots with Sean, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk on the Rock Rage Radio Network. I had a friend about a month ago send me video of this guy. He was doing a bit on a subway in New York, and it was the boxer bit, I think, is what it was, and I was just absolutely blown away. Marcus Monroe, thank you for doing this, my friend.
Hey, my pleasure. Good to be here, Sean. Thanks for having me.
So you're sitting there and you're doing dad jokes and they're tanking, and I'm assuming you have a friend that's like panning around, and the reactions of the people or the lack of reactions is just as funny as the jokes. Is how long have you been doing this?
Yeah, that's a good to be here. So it's been about a year that I've been doing stuff in the subway. I actually started out doing like my own jokes in the subway as me, and it was getting the same reaction that my characters do now, but I was like, this really hurts my ego. I need to be someone else.
Yeah.
So I decided to dress up as like a zombie for Halloween. And I did that. That was like my first time doing it was a zombie last Halloween. And it went pretty well. I didn't have the formula down that I do now, where I tell a joke, I look around, I repeat the punchline, look around again, then cut to like reaction shots. Like I didn't have that formula at the time, so it's a little different if you go back and look. But yeah, it's been crazy. I've done like 27, 30 characters on the train now.
Well, you had Ronald McDonald. The tooth one was hilarious.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah.
where do you get the like? Okay, so for starters, you get the idea, and it's like I'm just gonna jump on a train. I'm gonna see how it goes. Is that pretty much the skinny?
Yeah, pretty much like I do stand-up comedy around around I mean the United States and also into Canada. And I wanted a way to sell tickets and people to set what separates me from everyone else. You know, your social media is so important. So I decided to, to see how this went, and it went well, and now people are coming to shows because they see me. So I have like kind of no choice as to keep doing this, unfortunately. Like I found my thing that people like know me for. And it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it would just be like my jokes, but it's these like silly puns and dad jokes.
Well, and I mean, like again, the funny part is when you pan around, you see the reactions or lack thereof sometimes. I mean, the jokes and how you're doing it is hilarious, but it just the reactions of the
Yeah,
people in there
it's
is
brutal.
amazing.
It's brutal, and that's why I do a little inside scoop. I do three characters in one day. So I'll have three different costumes and I'll do three different people, whatever it is. And I do that because I dislike it so much that when I'm done with, like, I just want to get it over with. It's like right away, just like I'll just have a one day that sucks a month, and then I'll have content for the whole month to post. So that's kind of like my mentality. And yeah, New Yorkers are very they don't want to be messed with. I'm sure it might be different in Nova Scotia. It seems like maybe people have a little bit more of a tolerance for the arts or something, or like
Well,
random people.
as Canadians, we're always apologizing for nothing, but up here we're a pretty laid back group. So,
Well, I did dress up as a maple leaf in Toronto, and I did,
well, I saw that.
yeah.
I saw that. I lived in Toronto for 7 years, and going on the subway in Toronto, seeing something like that would be, well, you know what? This is just another day on a subway in Toronto. Um, when you go on there, because you've done other posts about getting in trouble for certain things and stuff, do you have any trouble with the subway down there? Do they kick you off? Do they give you, or they like it?
They love it.
Yeah.
The MTA loves it. They've reached out to me. They like it. I don't ask for any money, and all I do is I go on the train, and the train each stops anywhere from like 20 seconds to 2 minutes. And so I just do one set on the train. Doors will open at the stop. I'll run out to the next train, do the same thing again. So I'm really not bothering people for that long, just one stop. And I'll do each joke around like 7 to 10 times just so I want to get the perfect take. It's so hard because my buddy Drew, who films, he's standing there with a camera, but he's on a moving train and he's,
Right.
like shake, he's moving all around. So a lot of times we get like really good takes, but we just can't use it because the camera's moving or people stand up in front of it or for whatever reason. I mean, because it is filming on an active subway at probably the worst times to film.
Absolutely. So, have you ever had anybody that it was just like, that get stop? Like people get annoyed and they just try to throw you off, or
Yeah, totally. I had someone I dressed up as a MAGA supporter, and I am not, but someone saw me and thought I was one because I looked like one, and he threw a fit at me before even knowing I was probably on his side. I was making fun of them, which a lot of MAGA supporters didn't get the joke. Um, uh, I was the Grinch two times. The first time I was the Grinch, I actually stopped a fist fight that happened on the train. It
Oh,
wasn't because of me. I got off from the train and I see these guys fighting, and I'm like, so I'm in character. I'm like, all right, guys, stop fighting, and I pull like the guys off each other. And they didn't it was fine. There were other people also. I can't take all the credit. There are other people there helping out. And New York's kind of one of those places too, where it's like if two people are fighting, you're gonna let them work it out. But it
yeah,
was like
absolutely.
it was on the train. A lot of people were around, that kids and stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll diffuse the situation. But people, I'll see a lot of this, like covering their faces up, that they don't want to be on camera. And I hate to do this, but a lot of times when they do that, I'll just like show them, like do that. Just I'm
Yeah.
like, you're making such a big deal out of it. Um, but yeah, if people don't want to be on camera, usually I'm pretty a nice guy, and I won't put them on camera.
So I showed some of your videos to a friend of mine, and he goes, "Ask him if he's just getting the people to not react on purpose, or if they're really not reacting."
So that's a good question. I actually so I shoot wide, and then so if you go to my YouTube, you can see in real time the reactions of people. I don't have every video up there yet just because it takes so much time to edit, but I have a couple of them up there. And so you can see it's not a vertical shot like on your phone, it's wide. So you can see everything. And I don't tell people not to laugh. I don't tell people, hey, just look mad at me. This is just genuinely what people are looking like when I come on this train and perform. Now, people are going to work, they're coming from work, they've had long days. It's New York. I don't know if you've been to New York, but
Yep.
it's not. So New York can be kind of vicious at times, and it can eat you up and spit you out. So a lot of people are just going through it, and then here I come, just trying to make content and make people laugh on the train. So I think that's obviously why it works so well, is because it's such a taboo environment to do comedy. But it seems like people love to watch a train wreck, so I'll give it to
Well,
them.
yeah. Well, I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Is this guy for real? Like, is it like?" And
Oh,
again,
sure.
the first one I saw was the boxing one,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was like, "That is one of the funny," because it was just so creative. Because it's one of these things where everybody's probably thought about doing that, but everybody probably pulls the pin at the last minute where they go, "I can't do it," and there you are, you do that, but then you do all these. You said 27 you have right now, right?
27, yeah, about 27 characters I've done.
Amazing. So are you starting to create a list of, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
have a list on my phone. I keep adding to it every day of ones that I want to do. I mean, I want to do a Karen on the train. I think that might
That'd be
be
killer, man.
next one. Everything from like an alien to the Grim Reaper to like a fetus to a swimmer to a prop comic. Like I have so many ideas of characters, or like a piece of bread or like a loaf of bread, like objects and people. I kind of get a little high at night and I just get these ideas and then I just kind of write them down and I'm just like, all right, I guess I'll do that. Yeah.
Um, geez, would it be too out of color to do like a Joey Buttafuoco segment?
Wait, what did he do? Tell me, around. He was like coach, right?
No, he was the guy that he had the affair with the girl, and the girl ended up shooting the
Oh,
wife.
his penis off.
Yeah,
Right. I remember. Okay. Yeah, that was like, what was that, in the 90s that happened?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that growing up. Yeah, that was crazy. They found it and they reattached it somehow. I don't know how
yeah. I
that
mean,
worked. So
just
wait, your suggestions to be a cut off penis?
well,
That's really
hey, there you go. Maybe there's another one.
just a giant dick. Maybe for
Well,
like Pride Month or something. I don't know.
well, I don't know, but I could pull that off, no problem at all, just by my personality. But anyway,
Hell
uh,
yeah.
so
Hell yeah.
you're in St. Thomas. You're down there. You're working, correct?
Yeah, I'm working, just flew in today. I'm out in a couple days just doing some comedy down here, gonna film some content. So yeah, man, like the thing about content, if you will, is that people start expecting it from you on a like a regular basis. Like you can't just take off a month or like a week or something. People are like, what happened? And you got to feed the algorithm. So I'm out here, I'm making content. I have like 30 videos in my draft folder that I can post on Instagram that are all Subway characters. And I'm also working on some stand-up clips of my own because I want people to know I also do live shows of my own jokes. I do, my own style of comedy on stage. It's not the Subway stuff, although I do talk about it because people are so interested about it. So I talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out here working, man.
And what's that business like these days? I mean, I'm a musician, and the music business is, it's pretty brutal. But what's your business like right now?
Yeah, so really it's all about selling tickets. And if you can sell tickets, you'll be okay. Like the film and TV industry for us is really tough right now. I mean, you can get a Netflix special, but nothing really moves the needle like social media does. All right. And you might have people who will disagree with me, but I will die on that hill.
That
I have friends that have done Netflix specials and only got like 2,000 extra followers on Instagram, or someone does a late show like Fallon or something. They do a late night set and they'll get a little bump and it's cool and there's like cachet and it's like fancy to say I did a late night spot, but it's really not going to help you fill seats like a killer social media account. That's not true for everyone. You'll have some people like Dave Attell, Louis C.K., these comics that are like old school who come from a different generation. They're always going to be able to sell tickets and work the road. But people like me who are coming up, when people are seeing me, discover me not because of my stand-up, but because of my content, then funneling them into ticket buyers, then it's a little bit you can't just like stop. You got to keep putting up the content.
Absolutely. And I mean, social media is such a funny thing because I've done interviews where I'm going like, man, that was awesome, and it gets 2,500, 3,000 views, and then some guy feeds raccoons on his back deck and he goes viral. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
very
it's all
annoying.
stupid. It's all planting seeds, seeing what works, and that's
Yeah.
that's what happened with the Subway stuff. Like I didn't know it was gonna be the thing I would be known for a year ago. I just thought, all right, I had this idea, I'll try it, see what happens.
But
Here we go.
here's the power of social media. Some dude sends another dude. They're both in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and they send a video of this guy in New York. Are you from New York?
I've been there 20 years.
Okay. Where are you originally from?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay, so you're
World,
Midwest.
baby.
Yeah,
Yes.
Midwest. But so I see that and decide I like it so much I want to reach out to you for to have you on my podcast, and it's like that's the way the world works now.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Right.
very true. Very true. It's so much easier now to connect with people and to get the ball rolling on projects. I'm a huge fan of that.
Well, and I mean, the thing is I've got some friends that, oh, I'm old school. And old school to me, I hate to say it, but it's an almost a dying phrase because it's like to me, it's I hear that you basically tell me you're giving up.
Yeah.
And some people get mad at me for saying that, but it's like as much as you want to say I missed the day, well, the day's gone. It's probably never coming back. You got to keep moving forward, man.
Yeah, absolutely. My main thing is I never want to look back at like my life 10 years from now and be like, oh, why didn't I just do that?
Yeah.
Why didn't I just put in the effort and just do that? So, and that's kind of how I kind of live my life. Like, what would Marcus 10 years from now think about what I'm doing now? Would I be happy with what I'm doing? Would I be happy with the work I'm putting in and the response I'm getting out from it? And that's always changing too. What works one month is not going to work the next month. And that's like the algorithm. If anyone knows how to work the algorithm, please let me know because that is one
Yeah.
mysterious beast.
I actually met a gentleman who I did a little seminar with him about how to manipulate the algorithm, and that's pretty interesting.
That's just as good. How did
Yeah.
any good tips?
Well, one of the things that he said about TikTok, for example, you go on a TikTok, you post the same thing 3 times a day, but you just change the title line every time you do it. And I was like, that's bullcrap. And I have a video that my girlfriend did, just a little reel, and I've done it, since about mid-December, and it's over 200,000 views of a 39-second clip of just doing that. And I do it. I kept saying, as soon as it gets down below, 1,500, and every day 5,000, 6,500. So that was one little tip he gave me.
Well, so you're posting the same video 3 times in one day.
And then just changing the subject line, and you can go into the settings and they can give you like popular tags that people are using,
Yeah.
and you grab a couple of those and you change them. And I tell you, I was like, I thought this guy was full of it, and I did it, and that one instance worked. It's bizarre.
How much time are you waiting in between each post?
About 2 hours.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting. So
yeah,
you're kind of posting like throughout 3 times in like a 6 hour
yep,
span.
yeah. Or you can do it. The trick is 3 times a day, but he said about 2 hours in between. Just because what happens is, as it's updating, some of the old people get it, they might share it, but then you're hitting new people and all that stuff, right? So
And so you leave the same video up then?
what have done is I keep writing the same video because it keeps having success, and so I'm going to keep doing it until it tanks. And so far, it hasn't tanked, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, dang, I got to do that. All
Yeah,
right.
give it a try, man. And one of the things that I'll say too, your stick with the subway. It's got a real Saturday Night Live vibe to it. I don't know if that's something you were going for or not, but
Well, one of my idols is Andy Kaufman. I loved like reading about him, and I was fortunate enough to win the Andy Kaufman Award that his family gives out. That was like 12 years ago, but still keep in touch with his family. And, Saturday Night Live is, yeah, that would be obviously, that's a dream of every comedian, I think, to be on that show or to have like something to do with Saturday Night Live. But I just think it's kind of like where the culture, like what kind of what people like to watch too, like those like kind of wacky out of the box characters, it's pretty harmless. And I think also knowing it works because I'm self-aware enough to know that it doesn't work.
yeah,
Does that
yeah,
make sense? It's
it
kind
does.
of like very meta in a way, alternative comedy. So I think that's like where I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, do this on SNL, go on Saturday Night Live." I think that's why it's just like almost the same kind of like a Weekend Update character that just like does puns and bombs all the time, but he thinks he's killing.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, and I mean, like I reference that show a lot because when I started my podcast, I didn't pine or have a goal to ever be a podcast host. I'm
Uh-huh.
a musician. COVID happens. I can't play. I'll interview my friends or
Right.
whatever. But I
Right.
always said when I started interviewing people that were a little more famous, I never wanted to be like Chris Farley, that skit when he interviews Paul McCartney.
Yeah. Was that
And yeah, you used to play in the Beatles, right? Cool. And so, I mean, it's kind of worked for me. But the one thing about that show that I think is really neat, with maybe the exception of a couple of years, it's really seemed to, when they change characters, generationally, it keeps moving forward, and it doesn't
Yeah.
really seem to get stuck in the mud. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they do a really good job of finding the right cast members on that show. And it is crazy. Like I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, and it's just crazy to think that I now like work with people who are on that show. You know what I mean? Like I have friends who are on that show. Like that's crazy to me. Like
Yep.
I never thought like just like small town kid in Wisconsin moves to New York and all of a sudden rubbing shoulders with all these people. It's crazy.
No, I can relate because I had an opportunity early in to interview Liberty DeVito that played drums with Billy Joel.
Whoa.
What a super nice, like so nice. And it was like, yeah, his manager, Lib can give you 15 minutes, and we're at the 15-minute mark. Well, I got nothing to do. And 2 hours we talked to him, and he was just
Mhm.
phenomenal. So, last question
Uh,
for you, my friend,
sure.
because I know you want to get out there and enjoy some of the sun, and if there is any sun right now. I mean, I found you through a friend of a friend, but where do my folks find you? Because I've been singing your praises. So where do I send them?
Oh, I really appreciate that. Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm on all three of those. Just search Marcus Monroe. Yeah, and I'm going on tour 2025. I have a lot of dates throughout the states. I have interest in going back to Toronto and Montreal, so hopefully I'll be in there. I would love to go to Nova Scotia. It's beautiful.
Hey, we got a Yuck Yucks comedy club out here, man. You
I
never know.
love it. Yeah, I would love to play there. I love a good Yuck Yucks, great club. So yeah, hopefully I'll be up there soon.
Marcus Monroe, thank you so much, my friend.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, man. And I hope it wasn't too late for you. I hope it's not too late up
No,
there.
man, I'm about to go out the door to a birthday party, so it's all
Hell
good.
yeah.
All
Awesome, man.
right.
Thank you, dude. I'll
Peace.
talk to you soon.
You
Later,
bet.
man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.